This is my review on Star Wars The Phantom Menace. I give this a 10 out of 10. Or a 5 out of 10. Or it's 8 out of 10. You know what? I might have thought of a... Wait, did I say The Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones? I don't remember. So I'll do both in this review. This is my review on Star Wars The Phantom Menace and Star Wars The Attack of the Clones, the sequel to The Phantom Menace. And the prequel trilogy was in the prequel trilogy of Star Wars. These movies are a 10 out of 10. They are kind of impressive. Although I could do with still Jar Jar Binks if he was just cutting out of the... I could do without Jar Jar Binks as a main character in The Phantom Menace. If he was main character, but he's one of the main characters, but more like one of the side characters on The Phantom Menace, I think. You know, I don't know what Jar Jar's his purpose is. I don't know why he's in this movie. Other than as a cool gimmick to show off new effects that now are starting to show their age. And I don't think he's annoying like other people found him annoying. He's horrible. And also Darth Maul is like the coolest part of this movie. Death Maul. I forget. I always have trouble in saying his name, announcing his name. Is it Death Maul or Darth Maul? I can't remember. He's good in this. And the lightsaber fights are actually, the action fights are very well choreographed, I gotta admit. And, these movies are fucking ridiculously cheesy written with this dialogue. It was at least with the Attack of the Clones, but, and then guess from there on out and continues on in the third installment. So I will say a lot of things are very funny story elements in this movie, but I'm not sure if they were meant to be funny or I don't think they were meant to be funny. I just think it's kind of funny how I'm sorry, but I find it funny how Anakin's the only Jedi that doesn't need a biological father. Like, how does that work? I don't know. The Force does not make a lot of sense. It's kind of random. The Force says, makes me raise questions about this. I'm confused. How does that happen? But we will just accept it as Anakin is baby Jesus. That's funny because he becomes a villain in the third installment. He becomes Darth Vader, that's funny. And this, and when it gets to the time jump, once the movie gets a lot, the film gets once we get to Attack of the Clones, Anakin is a Padawan, young Padawan, Jedi in training, so. His angst levels are off the charts. His whiny angst levels off the charts. More so than Chris O'Donnell's Robin. From Batman and Robin was. Like, he could give Chris O'Donnell's Robin a lesson about being a whiny little pussy. And how to be more whiny and more obnoxious at it. And be more over the top and hilarious while making your audience howl with laughter like I did. With his whininess. And his creepiest smile for Patney. Oh, it's so funny. Life is funny. That's why I think on Star Wars Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace. Now, the plot is really stupid with these movies. Bare bones. Okay, so let's go with the Phantom Menace. I mean, when I say stupid, I don't mean stupid as in it doesn't make sense. I mean stupid as in pretty far out there. Of course, it's sci-fi, so anything can happen, I guess. With viral shit. If it's done well, I guess, I don't know. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi and this guy called, I forget the Jedi's name, but I'm Qui-Gon, I believe? Qui-Gon. Go to negotiate peace, but then get double-crossed. And have to, as chancellors, they basically have to, they basically have to, warn, they have to go to this planet, and then they have to protect this queen. And then really find out that Padme, this girl called Padme, is actually the queen. And the one who's been posing as queen for the entire movie, who's been attacked multiple occasions, kidnapped, is just a doppelganger to take her place. And keep her protected, basically. And we find this out. And this, like, in a Shyamalan Ding Dong twist. I think. Well, it doesn't make sense. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, if it makes sense or not. Be honest, entirely still. This is like one of those things that M. Night Shyamalan would write into a script just to prove the fact that to the world that he's a genius, just because he's drunk off his own thing. like Lucas is at this point in his career. Until it took the power of him selling the rights to Star Wars to Kathleen Kane Disney film to make him humble again. For him only to regret it. There were things, and that's why so many people want George Lucas to be. I guess that's why there's been a little debate if George Lucas would have been better if he kept Star Wars. Maybe. Because I think he would have made sense even though he probably wouldn't make exactly good. Good might be debatable of a trilogy if he made a sequel trilogy, but I think he would have found a way for it to make sense. Because he will at least have a plan, I feel like, you know, of the beginning and end of the trilogy. If he did the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. Hypothetically, but that's not what happened. So they killed Darth Maul, and Qui-Gon gets killed by Darth Maul after Konoe kills Darth Maul, and then he kills Darth Maul after Qui-Gon gets killed by Darth Maul. Oh, and Anakin flies a plane, a little jet in space, and is back up to help out with these men and pilots. And he basically helps. And somehow, I shit you not, this Anakin kid who's a minor at this point in the story, ends the war that's a losing war between the good guys and the villain in this movie. Because he just takes out the whole base that the droids are all running on. And somehow he didn't manage to fuck that up. And get everybody, and somehow he didn't manage to operate that plane to fly. When he's never flown in space before. Or anything before. Else, he never flown an actual spaceship before in space. So somehow he manages to perfectly figure it out. Of course. Brilliant, George Lucas. You cracked the case. Flawed characters do not equal good storytelling. Only flawed characters who quickly figure out everything in a matter of seconds. He knows their first time in a spaceship as a minor who has this have the Force schedule off the charts. Therefore, the Giant Temple is intimidated by him, doesn't want to take him in because he's too old. Besides, his Force levels are off the charts. Saying that he's the chosen one, clearly. Qui-Gon saying to the council. Yes. He is the chosen one. You know, I can see why they made Anakin a little pest in the sequel. And Attack of the Clones. Because he's too fucking perfect in the first one. Of a character. Think about it. He's too likable. So the only way George Lucas probably can fix that problem is to make him more punishable to watch by making him more punchable. When you think about it, but also make him more laughable in the sequel of Attack of the Clones, which continues and concludes in the Revenge of the Sith. that behavior with Anakin. Which is a reboot, retcon behavior when you think about it. Because when did Anakin turn into a psycho? Who knows? Who knows? He just is now once we get to Attack of the Clones. Obsessed psycho. For Padme. Also known as kind of a stalker. When you think about it, when it sounds like it. Now I know this might sound like he's a bit of a stalker, but he's not. He's just a little crazy and has a bit of a death wish. I'm not kidding you about that part, because when he flies in Attack of the Clones, he scares the shit out of Obi-Wan Kenobi through multiple suicide life attempts of trying to get the bad guy. And afraid that he might be a loose cannon, probably because he is a bit of a loose cannon. Because he acts like one. Huh. Once we get to Attack of the Clones. The Phantom Menace ends on the note of Obi-Wan Kenobi taking Anakin under his wing and continuing, and then the movie continues like a few years, decades later, after the events of the first one. The sequel to the Attack of the Clones movie. Sequel to Phantom Menace. Excuse me. Takes place from different few years later after the first one. Anakin says hi to keep eye on Padme, then which leads to Obi-Wan doing some investigating, which leads to him doing some digging on Jango Fett, which leads to this reveal of the clone process. These clone army have been finished being making for the Republic, the Jedi Republic. They're made for, supposedly, for the good guys to help them win the war. And then this leads to Obi-Wan Kenobi getting captured by Count Dooku in the game, which leads to Anakin getting captured, including Padme, because they decide to go after to save him, and get captured in the process, even though his instructions were to basically, stay out of harm's way and don't rescue him, and just don't be a hero, just get the Jedi Council involved. And stay out of it. So, he disobeyed order. And Obi-Wan makes a sarcastic comment on getting captured, and for this and also Anakin broke his lightsaber. And so he doesn't have a lightsaber, but he gets one by, I guess, Yoda. I mean, wait, how does he get, where does he get the green lightsaber in the third act? By Yoda, I think? I remember when Yoda hands him the lightsaber. Yoda hands him. Anyway, so it shows plans that Tom Cruise escapes after defeating the Jedi and escaping with the plans for the Death Star, and retrieves the plans for the brings them to Palpatine. Who's behind everything, the man behind the curtain, and also the Chancellor Palpatine, the same person, is revealed the Jedi Council figures that out in Revenge of the Sith. And this leads to Anakin turning against the Jedi Council because of his paranoia about losing Padme and not being able to save her and letting her die. He can't bear with to live outside her. So this leads to him going cuckoo for bananas and joining the dark side and taking on the name as Darth Vader and becoming Palpatine's apprentice, new apprentice, after he killed Count Dooku early on in the first act of the film by decapitating him with lightsabers, which started bringing him down to a more darker path than what he was heading down on. So once he becomes Darth Vader, his first act is to murder a bunch of Padawan children off screen. But we see it in a hall. We see it in like a little. We get this. We kind of, it's something that's concurs to me. Isn't it kind of funny for this one supposed to be a lot darker than the other ones are? Doesn't it seem like a little like less violent than Attack of the Clones? Somehow, when it gets to the Vader stuff. Before it gets, when Anakin takes on the mantle of Darth Vader, and, before he goes toe-to-toe with Obi-Wan, we don't see him kicking a whole lot of ass as being a badass as Vader, or taking on an army or anything. It almost I don't know whether that was cut out of the film or what. There's nothing cool like that in the film to show that he's, I don't know, a really cool badass before he takes on Obi-Wan Kenobi, I felt. I mean, the most we've done is see him kill children and kill, handicapped Mace Windu after cutting his hand off with cutting his lightsaber off his hand. And letting Palpatine finish the job. And so he kills Padme because he strangled her and she died of a broken heart, blah, blah, blah. I kid you not. She dies of a broken heart, not of Anakin strangling the life off, but because during pregnancy. It's so weird. I don't know if that's even possible. And is that how hearts work? I really don't know. I'm not a specialist in that area. And that's why I give Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace a 10 out of 10. And the entire prequel trilogy of the Alter trilogy of the prequel trilogy. Now, the reason why I say this is the Alter trilogy, because some things were removed and shuffled on me more cartoonish for the release after they released it in theaters and came out of theaters. George Lucas did that. So, that's why some people might get confused when they see The Phantom Menace and might have different viewpoints of what Yoda looked like. Like, some people remember The Phantom Menace Yoda was a puppet, but some people remember him as a CGI. Well, that's probably because the alter versions of these movies were the ones that got released, really, as to my knowledge. Now, I never seen, I don't outside of VHS, these, the unaltered versions. I mean, I remember, like, I think I, like, watched one of the Phantom Menace on VHS one time, at least. And, the point is, like, the original cut of the Phantom Menace, before it got changed and altered with some scenes changing. One of the things was to remove Puppet Yoda out completely from the Phantom Menace and replace it with CGI Yoda. Now, I don't know why they did that. I guess maybe it's because to make it a more coherent narrative timeline, because in the Attack of the Clones when it came out, that was the first time I ever saw CGI Yoda for the first time. And I think that was the first, for the first time for the unaltered versions of a release of a film. And, I still like these movies. These movies are very fun and very cheesy and silly. And that's what I like about this prequel trilogy. Well, I'm giving it a solid 10 out of 10, the whole movies trilogy. From the first one to the third one. All 10 out of 10s I give. Solid. I enjoyed these movies. Very much.